Good morning and hello, my YouTube friends. Happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing well. Stick around in today's video. I'm going to talk about 3 stocks that you can buy this week. All 3 of them have dividends, which I know some of you love. You can rely on that dividend income. I see them as great opportunity, and I think they're discounted right now. So hopefully you enjoy the content and find the stocks I picked interesting. Today is Sunday, March 3rd. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Adam Kahn, and I'm the Rational Investor. So, welcome to sunny Las Vegas. It was crazy the past day and a half. We had these winds that knocked over trees and did all sorts of damage. Really was something that we don't see too often. So, it's nice to have the sun come back out. It seems to be settling down. The pool, I don't know if you can see, is like a total, well, I don't even have it in the view, but it's like a total mess of leaves and everything else. Pretty wild. Anyway, forgive the shaky camera. I'm not the greatest at the editing and all that stuff, so I just picked it up and moved it. Anyway, let's talk about 3 different stocks that I think are discounted at a great value right now. I'll save the one I like the best for the end, like the other guys in the YouTube videos do, to try to keep you holding on. You can also just fast forward and go to it. Anyway, also do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. I really appreciate the support. It's been really cool. I know you guys know that. Make some comments. All that stuff helps YouTube's algorithm, and it helps other people find the channel as well. So stock number 1 that I like right now is Pfizer. Now, I like a lot of stocks, and again, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial planner. You guys need to do your own research and make your own financial decisions. You shouldn't be listening to me to make these decisions. You know, we all have different goals in mind, and you really have to find what specifically fits you. So I would seek out a professional or somebody who can help with that if you're not sure where to go. Not simply listen to me or anybody else on YouTube, because it really has to fit your unique situation. But I do like Pfizer. I think it's a great opportunity right now, and they're paying somewhere around a 6% dividend. They ran up a ton in the COVID vaccine stuff, and they were able to get on that train and do real well with it. And now that all of that is subsiding, and they have to start building new products and bringing them to market, you know, I think the stock's fallen off a good bit, which has brought it to a really good valuation. It got into like the mid 60s only a year or 2 ago, and it's fallen all the way down to 26, 27 type of range, where it's now, by virtue of falling in price, paying a nice dividend, which is a nice bonus for it. I think there's good upside potential, and if you stick with it for the next 10 years, we'll see how it plays out. Like, I don't think Pfizer is one of those companies that's a big home run that's going to go up a ton year in and year out, but I think you'll have a nice, slow, steady growth, and then you'll be able to collect those dividend payments as well. And at least me, who's getting into my 50s, my birthday a couple days ago, I'm now 52 years old, I start thinking about that stuff a lot more, that I want to have some passive income. I do think that the stocks that just outperform overall are the best. Like, why wouldn't I want to own NVIDIA above anything else? And I'm not saying at the point it's at now, but if I was fortunate enough to buy it, a year and a half ago, when it fell down below $100 a share, now it's all the way back to 800. I don't care what dividend something's paying. That's great return, and I could sell a little of the NVIDIA. But that being said, as I get older, I don't want to pay attention to the ups and downs like that. I would just like to find secure companies that can continue to pay quarter after quarter or month after month, depending on how they pay out. So it's nice to find a company like Pfizer that's fallen a good bit, and by virtue of falling in price, the dividend yield goes up, and you're able to take advantage and get that yield as long as they make enough money to be able to continue to pay those dividends. Keep in mind, dividends are never guaranteed. They could always be cut lower, and they could always be cut out completely, and that does happen from time to time. So be prepared that that can happen, and always give yourself a little bit of a buffer. So I think Pfizer's a great company. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. If you have any questions on it, just ask. So number 2 that I'm going to talk about today is UPS. And these are all companies that I think are good opportunities to buy right now. You know, this week they fell a lot. UPS in particular fell when they had their last earnings report. They did just fine, but the guidance and the competition and everything else caused it to fall off a bit. UPS ended up closing the week around 148 or $147 a share, and they're paying over a 4% dividend right now, which to me for UPS is a great dividend. If I saw correctly, or if I remember correctly, it's actually 4.4%, which is significantly higher than 4, and they make enough money to be able to pay that dividend currently, and they typically raise it. So I really see it as a good opportunity to get into another great company at a discounted price. Now, understand it could go lower. I'm hoping it doesn't. I think it's in a good spot where it is currently, but you never know. And maybe they have bad earnings going forward. They have new competition from even companies like Amazon. And I'm sure some of the others are doing direct deliveries as well and trying to cut them and FedEx and the others out a bit. But they have a really good system in place for how they actually do their deliveries, partially because they've been doing it for so long. And I'm guessing even they'll be a beneficiary of AI that'll be able to break down the routes and how to do it and press further to save them money and move on. The other thing is I've noticed, which is oil and gas prices have come down. Well, I'm sure that's going to help them on their earnings over the next quarter or two, unless something about that changes and we see gas prices go up. Gas got so expensive for a while. I know you guys know here in Las Vegas, it's pushing $5 a gallon. Now I'm seeing it back in the threes more often than not. That's a 40% savings for a company like UPS, where a lot of their money has to be spent on gas and oil to run their trucks. I'm sure their salaries are expensive as well, and they made some cuts on that end as well. People got all upset saying they must be turning terrible because they had to do these layoffs. But generally, these companies are pretty bright, and I'm guessing the layoffs are to help drive profits. And maybe next quarter or a couple quarters out, we'll start seeing some improvement on that. So UPS is number 2, and I really love their company as well. And last but not least is a company, and I've talked about all 3 of these in other videos, but this one is one of my favorites, which is Starbucks. I saw in somebody else's video when they were talking about it, and people in the comment section, like, I didn't even realize that there were people out there boycotting Starbucks, but that actually makes me like it more. I find these things ebb and flow, and it's just like when Chipotle had the problems with whatever it was going on where they had tainted vegetables or whatever else. In time, people forget. They get really worked up when something comes up. And I didn't even realize that Starbucks has some stance on what's going on with Israel and Palestine, and some of the people that are supporting the Palestinian cause that are getting all uptight, arguing, saying, they're going to boycott Starbucks. And if that happens to be impacting their stock price, I see it as a good opportunity to pick some up. It's the same as when people were talking about Target getting woke politics when the stock was down near its new lows, and it's already up like 40% off of the bottom. Starbucks has been sitting in a channel for a long time. It's been between like $90 and $110 for, geez, it's probably been close to 2 years now. It's down towards the bottom of that channel. I think that's a good area to pick some stock up. They also pay a small dividend, and I think there's really room for them to be able to increase that dividend really well year over year. And they're a great company. They were able to raise prices. Every time they've reported earnings, the stock's reported really good earnings. It has an initial move up, and then it kind of fades and falls afterwards. So I'm not sure if there's concern about whether it's these boycotts or whether it's the employees unionizing or all the stores in China and the risk out there. But I think in the long run, I think they're going to do incredibly well. And if you stick with it for the next 10 or 20 years, they're in a space that does well. They created that niche themselves. And when I look at, I try to look, like, I know people don't always like me talking about my son, but sometimes the reason I talk about that is I look at it in terms of seeing the longevity that I see in a company. If I see my son and his friends using things like Starbucks, now he doesn't, but all of his friends really do. They all know what drink they want to get, especially the girls. They go in, they order what they get, they spend their $5 or $6 for a drink there, and they move on about their day, and they love it, and they go there consistently. Week in, they probably go twice a week. Well, as they continue to get older, odds are they've built that into their system, and they're going to continue to use that product, and they're just going to grow up continuing to use Starbucks. That's why I look to see what him and his friends use. It's not that there's anything about it other than I think that gives a company a really long time to continue to succeed. If I see them using it and they use Starbucks and they like it and their parents even know what to get them, they'll continue to do it when they go to college, when they get out of college and they have jobs, and probably into their later years. So that's what I really love about Starbucks. Anyway, one more time, thumbs up, like, subscribe, make some comments. I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm sure I'll talk to you in the next day or two, and we'll talk about some other stocks or the real estate or just the economy in general. I wish you all the best. I hope you do great, and I hope you're making tons of money. Have a good day.